In this video, we are going to revise some questions from English paper 2 for the 2020 for the externals. Now let's look at section 1 here. We are looking at vocabulary with 10 marks. Now the statement from the given 4 options, choose the one that completes the sentence correctly. Write your answers in the spaces provided. Ensure that your answers are spelled correctly. So we have been given an example. Main factories suffered substantial damage last year. Then it's like we are trying to look at the word from the 4 given options, which is a synonym for the underlined word, or the word that means the same as the underlined word. So now let's look at our first question here. So that is the latest invention by the famous professor. So to invent means to make, to produce. Now this one, the best answer that is related to invention is creation. So we have creation here. Then let's move on to question 2. It is difficult to predict the end result in this game. So to predict is to foresee. So the best answer here is we have to presume. So presume is like you are supposing, you are giving the picture of what you think will happen based on the probability. Okay, so now we can move on to question 3. The principal was delighted to receive a unanimous response from the students. So a unanimous response is like everyone has agreed, everyone has come into an harmony. So the best answer here is harmonious. Then we can move on to question 4. It is dangerous for soldiers at war to deplete the bullet stock. So to deplete, it means to use, which is here to finish. So we are looking at to finish the bullet stocks. So to deplete, we are saying to finish. Then 5. Since this issue is trivial, let us progress. A trivial is something that is unimportant, something that is considered to be negligible. Okay, now move on to question 6. The Namzeze brothers would have fought if they were not restrained. So restrained here, we are looking at like they are restricted. They were like kept captives, or they were not allowed to do a certain thing. So the best answer here is constrained. Then question 7 here. So all autonomous institutions will meet the president tomorrow. So an autonomous, let's say, institution is an institution that works independently, an institution that doesn't work based on the rules and regulations. So here the answer is independent. Then question 8. My sister lives at the periphery of the town. So the periphery is something at the end or not on the center. So the opposite of the center is peripheral. So the answer here is at the end of the town, or the part that is not considered to be very important. Then question 9, there was no option but to quarantine the cholera patients. So to quarantine is like keeping people in a certain room for a certain period of time for treatment or to see the symptoms of a certain disease. So here the word that means same as quarantine is confine. Then number 10, I do not get bored listening to eloquent speaker. So an eloquent speaker is someone that is fluent. Then 11, the teacher will not permit anyone to leave early. So here to permit means as to allow. So will not allow anyone to leave early. Then 12, Mr. Chanda liked the acted innovative plans. So on this question 12 here, the key point or the information here is we are looking at the recent information. So which is we have our modern. So the modern plans were liked by Mr. Chanda. So we have modern here. Then 13, Florence's new sneakers were spotless. So spotless means were clean. Then 14, each of the poet's work is unique. So a unique is like you are doing something in your own way, like something that is best for you, something that cannot be done by anyone. So we all have our unique ways of doing things. Now here we have been given the picture of poet's work being unique. So this one is peculiar. Then 15, the children take after their father. So here it is resemble. So we are looking at like to look alike. So it is to resemble. Then 16, the warriors triumphed in their pursuit. Then to triumph is to succeed or to win. So from these multiple choices, from these options, the answer is succeed. So the warriors succeeded. So they succeeded, they won in their pursuit. Then 17, there was anarchy in the stadium after the first goal. So anarchy, we are looking at a disorder or maybe a chaos, a situation where there is no peace. So the answer here is confusion. Then number 18, an owl is a nocturnal hunter. So a nocturnal hunter is a hunter that hunts at night. So here the answer is night. So this is same as an owl is a night hunter. So it hunts during the night time. Number 19, the little girl looked down on the maid. So here to look down means to despise. So despised on the maid. Then the last one, her kind to is a pseudo lawyer. So a pseudo lawyer is a lawyer that pretends to be a lawyer, but in actual sense is not. So here the answer is fake lawyer. So these are the answers to these questions. Now let's look at the transformations. So in each of the following items, sentence A is complete, but sentence B is incomplete. Complete sentence B, each item making it as similar as possible in meaning to sentence A. Make sentence B one sentence, never two Never. 2. Do not make any changes to the printed parts of sentence B. So let's look at these transformations. So the first, we have been given the example. Chuma broke the mirror. B, the mirror was broken by Chumas. Then let's look at our A. First one, I will visit him if he invites me. So whenever we have this, we are looking at the rewrite that has the condition. So there is a condition that must be made for this action to take place. So for this person to visit him, first he must be invited. Now we have been given begin with unless. So unless is same as if not. So it's a negative word. So unless he invites me, comma, I will not visit him. So this means that if not invites me, if he is not going to invite me, I will not visit. So for me to visit him, first I must be invited. So unless he invites me, comma, I will not visit him. Okay, so now let's move on to question 2. So question 2, we have been given the question that is in direct speech, and our task is we want to convert in reported speech. So under reported speech and direct, there are some changes that we are supposed to do. So let's look at question A. Carry an umbrella in case it rains today, said my mother. Begin, my mother advised me dash dash. So here we can now say my mother advised me to carry an umbrella, in case it had rained. So today changes to that day. So in case it had rained that day. So this is the change. Then also we need to make sure that our sentence is in the past since we are reporting. So my mother advised me to carry an umbrella in case it had rained that day. So we have in past tense. Then question 3a. When I saw the snake, I took to my heels. So taking to someone is, took to my heels means like you run as faster as possible. Now there is the first action here. So the first action was first this person saw the snake, then after that that person took to his heels. Then we have no sooner. So no sooner had the pattern that you need to follow. Whenever we have no sooner, we are going to have that in our sentence. So no sooner had I saw. So had I saw the snake. So the pattern is after the first action, you put than. So no sooner had I saw the snake than I took to my heels. Then let's look at question 4. Since the hostel is in a dilapidated state, the students have vacated it. Dilapidated state means it's old or broken, like a building or a building that is old, which is it needs renovation. Now begin being. So say being in a dilapidated state, being in a dilapidated state, comma, the students vacated the hostel. Okay, so now let's move on to question 5. He brought back the phone only when he was reminded. So here, not until he was reminded, not until he was reminded. He was reminded. Did he bring the phone back? Okay, so now let's look at question 6 here. As she grew fatter, she became increasingly lazy. So here the answer will be the fatter she grew, then we'll say the lazy she increasingly became. Then question 7. Makwanta and all his brothers go to Sinchari Primary School. Then begin Makwanta together with his brothers. So we're not going to add or since we have used the word together. So together with his brothers. So we need to change to singular. So we'll say goes. So Makwanta together with his brothers goes to Sinchari Primary School. Okay, so then you can move on to question 8. Tamara was so worried that she could not eat. So here we are using the so and that as our intensifier. So here these two words are telling us, or they are showing us the degree to which this Tamara was. So she was too worried that because of that she couldn't eat. Now the same if we were to connect so that now this shows the purpose. Let's say if you say I am studying so that I can pass. So whenever you connect so and that, they will show the purpose of something. But whenever so and that are separated, then we have the intensifier. So we'll say so worried was Tamara. So worried was Tamara that she couldn't eat. Okay, so now let's move on to question 9. He hardly helps his mother. Rewrite the whole sentence and add the question tag. So we'll say we are told to rewrite the whole sentence. So he hardly helps his mother. Then the question tag. So hardly is negative. So whenever you are given a sentence in a negative, you are supposed to use the positive question tag. So instead of saying doesn't he will say does he. So does he. So that is the key. Then question 10. He is a very jovial person. Then begin what? So what a jovial person he is. Now here whenever we begin with what, then our punctuation should be exclamation mark. So now let's look at Now we have a comprehension here. Now comprehension depends on how good are you with understanding of English. So let's look at this part here, and we'll have 20 marks. Read the following passage carefully and then answer the questions that follow. So let's look at paragraph 1. I will tell you a secret. Nobody can resist the temptation to listen. We are all interested in secrets as it is part of our common human nature. In fact, when the secrets are those of a famous person, the interest is greater. Then we go to paragraph 2. For something like 250 years, religious scholars and historians had wished they could read the diaries of John Wesley. This is from 1703 up to 1791. The founder of the Methodist religious movement, which is since the first Methodist chapel opened in Bristol in 1739, has spread through Britain, the United States, and much of the rest of the world. The diaries, carefully preserved among the records of the Methodist Society, are in 10 leather-bound books, but nobody knows what they contain because nobody could read them. Then you have paragraph 3. They were written not in ordinary letters, but in a code that Wesley invented using a mixture of 3 different systems of shorthand, some ordinary letters, some symbols, and a number of dots and dashes. In spite of numerous attempts over the past 2 centuries, the code has never been broken. Not one of the 10 secret volumes had ever been fully decoded. It seemed as though the secrets of the founder of Methodism were to remain locked up forever. So we can now move on to paragraph 4. This was surprising because most of codes can be broken. Samuel Pepys, another great diarist, wrote his diary in shorthand because if it had been in longhand, he would have had to set down no more than it fits for all the world to know. But after his death, his diary was deciphered and all his secrets were revealed. Aided by the luck discovery of Rosetta Stone, scholars had even read hieroglyphic, the picture writing of the ancient Egyptians, but not the Wesley diaries. This failure was all the surprising because Wesley's code was known to and used by a number of his close friends and fellow workers at Oxford in the 1730s. There must have been at least one copy of the key to the code on paper, perhaps more than one, but as far as was known, no copy had survived. Then paragraph 5. Nevertheless, one had, and within the last year, has been found in a miscatalogued book in the Methodist archives in London. A young American scholar, Dr. Richard P. Etzinger, was paying his first visit to the library. He was carefully taking all the books off a particular shelf in order to get a good idea of the kind of material available on the subject of the founders of Methodism. The catalogue mentioned a diary by James Harvey, who was a student at Lincoln College, Oxford, while Wesley was a fellow. It was unlikely to contain anything of interest, but Dr. Hayes' narrator took it down and examined it. Then question 6, paragraph 6, it was not James Harvey's diary, but that of much closer connection of Wesley's, Benjamin Hingham. It was written in the same code as Wesley's diaries, and there on page 3 was a heading, The Method of Keeping a Diary. The key to the Wesley's code followed on 3 close-written pages where abbreviations and symbols were all explained together with other indications of special members of deciphering. Another short list completing the key was found on the inside back cover. Now, paragraph 7, Dr. Hesnreiter was so overcome with excitement that he was almost too tongue-tied to explain his discovery to the librarian. I just stumbled into office. I couldn't sit down for a couple of hours. Then the last one, in due course, the Methodist Conference heard the story and gave Dr. Hesreiter special permission to take the Hingham Diary and the 10 Wesley volumes, the United States. He is now engaged in decoding the diaries, and when he publishes his result, he will have the satisfaction of knowing that he has made a major contribution to Wesleyan scholarship, and all because he was the first man in a couple of 100 years to work through that particular shelf in a methodical and scholar way. So we have been given a passage, and we have been told an adaptation from the Diary of John Wesley. Then this passage is about decoding of the diaries that were written by some scholars. Okay, now let's look at the question. So in each of the questions 1 to 9, select the best answer from the 4 options provided. Indicate your answers by drawing a circle around the letter on this question paper as in the example below. If you change your mind, cross out the initial choice neatly and then circle your revised answer clearly. For question 10, answer as instructed. Okay, so now let's look at these questions. The passage is about secrets. Okay, so we have been given the best answer. Now, in paragraph 1, the word we refers to. So if we go back to paragraph 1, we can see that I will tell you a secret. Nobody can resist the temptation to listen. We are all interested in secrets as it is part of our common human nature. So we are all. This simply means, let's look at the multiple choices. So from the multiple choices, A, people all over the world, religious scholars and historians. So the answer is A, because we are looking at we are all interested. So everyone around the world is interested in secrets. Okay, so now let's move on to B. According to paragraph 2, how old was Johnny Wesley when the first Methodist chapel opened in Bristol? So let's go to paragraph 2 so that we can find the answer 2. So for something like 250 years, religious scholars and historians had wished they could read the diaries of John Wesley. So Johnny Wesley, born in 1703, then he died in 1791. Then the founder of the Methodist religious movement, which since the first Methodist chapel opened in Bristol, so the first time the Methodist was opened was in 1739. So let's do calculations. So say 1739 subtract 1703, since this is when he was born. So 9 minus 3 is 6. 3 minus 0 is 3. 17 minus 17 is 0. So here this man was 36 years of age. So let's look at the multiple choices if we have that. Okay, so we can see that we have our answer B. Then from paragraph 3, it is clear that a number of people had tried to read Wesley's diaries without success, Nobody had tried to break Wesley's code for 200 years. Nobody will ever be able to decode the 10 volumes completely. Wesley's secrets would remain locked up forever. So let's look at paragraph 3. So paragraph 3, they were written not in ordinary letters, but in a code that Wesley invented using a mixture of 3 different systems of shorthands, some ordinary letters, some symbols, and a number of dots and dashes. In spite of numerous attempts over the past 2 centuries, the code has never been broken. Not one of the 10 secrets volumes had ever been fully decoded. It seemed as though the secrets of the founder of Methodism were to remain locked up forever. So we are saying it did, but there was a chance of this remained locked up forever. So there is a chance of that. So let's look at the multiple choices. So we'll go with D. D is Wesley's secrets would remain. So there is a chance that if no one can open it, then it would remain locked up forever. Then we have question 4. According to paragraph 4, there are 2 reasons for being surprised that the Wesley diaries could not be read. The first is that most codes can be broken. The second is that, so let's look at the paragraph 4. So paragraph 4, this was surprising because most codes can be broken. Samuel Pepys, another great diarist, wrote his diary in shorthand because if it had been in longhand, he would have had to set down no more than is fit for all the world to know. But after his death, his diary was deciphered. So to decipher is like to change the code to open. So his diary was deciphered and all his secrets were revealed. So to review is like to come to know. Okay, we have enough information now to find the answer. So A, it was known to the members of Oxford University in Wesley's. Then B, scholars have succeeded in reading Egyptians hieroglyphics. Then C, the diary of Samuel Pepys was deciphered after his death. Yes, it was opened. Then question 5, according to paragraph 5, Dr. Hesnereta went to the Methodist archives in order to find so A, a diary written by a certain James Harvey, B, a mistake in the catalogue of books, C, material about the initiators of Methodism, D, the key to the code of John Wesley diaries. So let's look at paragraph 5. What can we get from that paragraph? So paragraph 5, nevertheless, one had and within the last year has been found in a miscatalogued book in the Methodist archives in London. A young American scholar, Dr. Richard P. Hesnereta, was paying his first visit to the library. He was carefully taking all the books off a particular shelf in order to get a good idea of the kind of material available on the subject of the founder. So the founder is like the initiator of Methodism. So that was his main focus. So he wanted to get a good idea of the kind of material available on the subject of the founder. So he wanted to know this. So let's look at multiple choices. Question 5. So he went to the Methodist archives in order to find material about the initiator. The initiator is the founder of Methodism. 6. We can infer. So to infer, it means to conclude. So we can conclude from the passage that the previous visitors to the Methodist library had ignored Benjamin Ingram's diary because James Harvey had a very little connection with John Wesley. B, they did not know that Benjamin Hingham was closely connected with John Wesley. C, they did not know that James Harvey had been a friend of Wesley at Oxford. Then D, they were not looking for the key to John's Wesley code. So this one, we are just trying to make a conclusion from the passage. So we can make the conclusion, they did not know Benjamin Hingham was closely connected. Okay, so now let's move on to 7. According to paragraph 7, Dr. Henrietta was almost too tongue-tied to explain to the librarian that he had found. So then A died by a close friend of Wesley. B, a mistake in the librarian catalogue. C, nowhere to sit down for 2 hours. D, the key to deciphering Wesley's diary. So let's look at paragraph 7. So paragraph 7, Dr. Henrietta was so overcome with excitement that he was almost too tongue-tied to explain his discovery to the librarian. So tongue-tied means like you are failing to explain because of the excitement that you have. So then here we have, I just stumbled into his office. I couldn't sit down for a couple of hours. Okay, so let's look at it. Let's go back to 7. So 7, the answer is D, the key to deciphering Wesley's diary. So that's why he was tongue-tied. Then 8, according to paragraph 8, the Wesley's diary are now, let's look at paragraph 8, where are you? Okay. So in due course, the Methodist Conference heard the story and gave Dr. Henrietta special permission to take the Hingham diary and the 10 Wesley volumes to the United States. So they were taken to United States. So let's look at mathematical choices. So the answer is D, are now in the United States. Then for 9, which one of the following statement is true according to what the author thinks of Dr. Henrietta in paragraph 8? Dr. Henrietta did something to deserve the stroke of luck that will enable him to decode Wesley's. B, has made a major contribution to Wesley's scholarship through pure luck. C, is the first methodical scholar to visit the Methodist archives in 200 years. D, who make a name for himself just because he had and saved. So he is the first methodical scholar to visit, so that is the answer there. Then we go to the last part. From the underlined words in the passage, find a word that means the same or nearly the same as each of the following words or phrases. So spell them correctly. So the first one we have in a systematic manner. So let's look at the words that we have. So from paragraph 1 we have resist. To resist is like to oppose. Then scholars, we are like academicians. Then let's look at paragraph 2. We have to invent. It's like to make or to produce or to create. Then let's look at 4, reviewed. So reviewed is like to make something known. So to make something known, something that was a secret known. Then ancient means something that is very old. Okay, so let's look at then from paragraph 5 we have the word examined. So to examine is like to go through something thoroughly. So you are checking if there are mistakes or. Then let's look at 6. We have special. Special is like extraordinary. Extraordinary. Something that is above ordinary. Then tongue-tied, we are saying like failing to talk. Then let's look at what else. Then we have also methodical. So methodical is like the special arrangement of stuffs. Then let's go to the questions. Where are you? Okay, so the first one here we have in a systematic manner. So this is methodical. Then something that is very old, it's ancient. Then academicians, we have scholars. Okay. Then extraordinary, we have special. So this is what I can share with you guys under this video. So that's it for this video. Thanks for watching.